RiRi can't stop crying after ASAP Rocky's announcement. There are moments in life when everything seems perfectly normal on the outside, but in just a few seconds, one sentence can change everything. And for Rihanna, or as millions lovingly call her, RiRi, that moment came when ASAP Rocky made an announcement no one saw coming. What started as an ordinary day, quickly turned into one of the most emotional and heartbreaking moments fans have ever imagined between this iconic couple. And trust me, by the end of this story, you'll understand exactly why RiRi couldn't stop crying. Because this wasn't just any announcement. This one hit deep. It all began inside what looked like a calm, beautiful afternoon at their private home. The atmosphere was peaceful. Soft music played in the background. The kids were in another room with the nanny. Everything looked normal. Too normal. RiRi had no idea that Rocky had been carrying something heavy on his heart for weeks, maybe even months. And that day, he had finally decided. He couldn't keep it inside anymore. At first, Rihanna noticed something was off. Not dramatic. Not obvious. Just different. Rocky wasn't his usual playful self. He wasn't cracking jokes. He wasn't teasing her. He wasn't walking around with that confident, laid-back energy he usually had. Instead, he looked quiet. Almost distant. And if there's one thing Rihanna knows better than anyone, it's his silence. Because when a man like Rocky goes quiet, it usually means something serious is coming. RiRi reportedly looked at him and softly asked, "Babe, what's wrong?" And for a few seconds, Rocky didn't answer. He just looked at her. And that silence alone already made her heart start racing. Because sometimes, the silence says more than words ever can. Rihanna sat up straighter. Her expression changed. The playful mood disappeared from her face instantly. She knew. Something was about to happen. And then Rocky finally took a deep breath. Looked her in the eyes. And said the words that would completely break her. I need to tell you something. Now normally, that sentence by itself might not sound terrifying. But in a relationship, especially one built on deep love, emotional history, and real vulnerability, that sentence can feel like the ground is about to collapse beneath you. And for Rihanna, that's exactly what it felt like. Her eyes reportedly widened. She tried to stay calm. She tried to smile. But inside, she was panicking. Because when the person you love says, "I need to tell you something," your mind starts running in 1,000 directions. Did something happen? Is someone hurt? Did he make a mistake? Is he leaving? What is this? What could possibly be so serious that he looks like that? And then Rocky continued. Slowly. Carefully. Like every word weighed 1,000 pounds. He told her that for a while now, he had been thinking deeply about his life, his future, his responsibilities, and the pressure of everything happening around them. The fame. The cameras. The expectations. The non-stop noise. The constant public attention. The rumors. The judgment. The endless pressure to always look strong, always look unbothered, always look like everything is perfect. And then he said something Rihanna was not prepared to hear. He looked at her with tears building in his own eyes and said, "I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending I'm okay." And that was the moment everything shattered. Because RiRi immediately realized. This wasn't about gossip. This wasn't about headlines. This wasn't about another celebrity rumor. This was personal. This was real. This was the man she loved finally opening up in a way he rarely ever does. And once she heard that, her face completely changed. That strong, composed, confident Rihanna the world always sees. Gone. In that moment, she wasn't a billionaire. She wasn't a global superstar. She wasn't a fashion icon. She wasn't a business mogul. She was simply a woman hearing the pain of the man she loves. And it crushed her. At first, she tried to stay strong. She reached for his hand. She told him softly, "Talk to me, please. Tell me everything." And that's when Rocky finally let it all out. He admitted that lately, he had been feeling overwhelmed in ways he hadn't even fully known how to explain. He said the pressure of trying to be strong for everyone, for his family, for Rihanna, for the kids, for his career, for the world, had been building up inside him like a storm. He said he felt like he had to carry everything on his shoulders without ever letting it show. He said people always expected him to be cool, composed, untouchable. But the truth? Inside, he had been struggling. And as he spoke, Rihanna's eyes immediately filled with tears. Because one of the hardest things in love is realizing that someone you adore has been suffering right next to you. And you didn't fully know how bad it was. That guilt alone can destroy you. She reportedly kept shaking her head, whispering, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me sooner?" And Rocky's answer. That's what really broke her. He looked at her and said, "Because I didn't want to become another burden in your life." And the second those words left his mouth, RiRi broke. Completely. Emotionally. Instantly. She covered her face. Her shoulders started shaking. And the tears just started falling. Not graceful tears. Not the kind you wipe away quickly and move on from. No. These were the kind of tears that come from deep pain. The kind that make it hard to breathe. The kind that rise from your chest because your heart physically can't hold that much emotion at once. Because imagine hearing the man you love say that he didn't come to you sooner because he was afraid of being a burden. That means he was hurting. And hurting alone. And for Rihanna, that thought was unbearable. She kept crying and telling him over and over, "You are not a burden. You will never be a burden to me." And honestly, that part alone would have broken anyone. Because beneath all the glamour, the luxury, the fame, and the public image, this was two people in love having one of the most raw, painful, and human moments imaginable. And for RiRi, it was simply too much. But Rocky wasn't done. Because then came the actual announcement. The thing he had really been trying to say all along. The thing he had been building up to. The thing that would send Rihanna into even deeper tears. He looked at her and said, "I think I need to step back for a while." And when she heard that, she froze. Completely. Because those words can mean so many things. And for one terrifying second, Rihanna thought the worst. Her voice